Well, back in my day, Frank, I used to have to write Visix for Visual Studio to get my templates installed. I had to use wizards. I had to do like crazy key gen replacement shenanigans. That's what I used to do.
Physics. Physics. I think I do a Physics. I think when I publish Calca for the Windows Store, I think I'm using a. No, it can't be. They can't be that old. That's only for Visual Studio editions. What is this old timer talk? Why are we talking about old things like this? But you did catch my attention with the word template there. Why were you making a template?
Well, templates are important. I'm a firm believer of templates for projects. And, in the world of .NET and Android and iOS and anything that you do, there's templates. And in templates, the default templates are super important out of the box. I think they're the most important thing that can be developed. And it's a hard balance. I've worked many years, not only on the Xamarin team, but close to the .NET team, and I've had entire papers written about templates and what they should and shouldn't do, and doing user studies on templates and a whole bunch. You would be surprised because there's a catacomb of
Publish it.
things that can go into templates, right? And you also don't want to overwhelm your users, especially new users, with too many options, too many things. You also want to set them up for success. You want to evolve the templates as the technology evolves. It's like the reference template. However, that's not going to make everyone happy, right? Remember the big change from the file new, console application, that now it's just one line of code. You don't get all the ceremony around it. It's there. You just don't see it. Now there's actually a checkbox to go back if you want to. Do you want minimal APIs, non-APIs?
Fine.
There's too many checkboxes. Fine,
everyone. Program.cs. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. One line of code. It's done. So I think templates are really important. Now, over the years, I've developed and published many, many templates. And through Visual Studio, there's the Visix, which is a Visual Studio extension format, basically. And for me, that's how I used to deliver templates, is you would bundle up all of these different formats. I had to go through crazy formatting, and like the templates don't actually compile because you're swapping out names of things and characters because you want the namespaces to be correct and the class names to be correct, and all this substitution based on the file name, all these weird things.
Can we say the T4 template engine?
Yeah, it's got to go through all that stuff.
Anyway, the wonderful T4 template engine.
Template.
Continue.
It goes through all this stuff, and then you get to deliver it to folks. Like, why would you do this? This is wild. Well, I started to develop templates a long time ago for Xamarin Android, just core Android work. This is before Xamarin Forms. This is 10 years ago I started doing this stuff. And I remember actually giving a session at Xamarin Evolve about these templates and all the things that were built in and setting yourself up, because Android stuff is so complex and so crazy, but you do want things to be nice out of the box. A file new project, give me flyout menu, give me the tabs, give me all this stuff, right? You want everything, all the ceremony to be set up for you. And adding little items like file, add new item, and you add a little menu item and all this stuff. So you have to remember all this stuff off the top of your head. So I've done that forever. I did Xamarin Forms once. I did all this other stuff. And then there's evolution of the templates as well that I kind of want to talk about today, because there's new things that you just brought up. There's things that I've leveraged on GitHub, for example. There's new tooling that's been involved. But the real question is, like, why did I do all this? And I did this because in our minds, Frank Kruger, we believe that if we put in the work, we put in the effort, we put in the time, we'll create these templates, and then we'll save so much time in the future.
Yeah. It's the code reuse hobgoblin that's on every programmer's mind, isn't it? Geez, I didn't know we'd get philosophical here. I was ready to just counter all your points. But James, thank you for your bona fides, because true story here. I said to you, I have a topic this week, something I really want to talk about.
No, you didn't. What was it?
That's the true story. Yes, I said, what I said was, I have a template that I use all the time. But every time I use it, it doesn't work. It's actually a bad template. I haven't updated it because it doesn't actually compile out of the box. The problem is I do so few templates that I can't even remember how to update this thing. And I went to my repository and there is a missing README. Normally, I'm at least good enough to have a README that reminds me how to update the NuGet package, compile the thing, run the thing, any of that. No, missing README. So I am glad that you are a template professional because I want to ask you, what is the current state of the art of templates and how do I update my template? Because I don't remember how to do any of this stuff. I do it so rarely. But yes, wouldn't it be great if, I don't know, like you have Git templates, you have .NET templates, you have, I guess those are the only templates I have, the ones that are built into .NET and Visual Studio. But I feel like I don't take advantage of them enough, and it's kind of pathetic. I don't know how to update my one template. So help me, James.
Yes. Well, again, we're under this belief that even updating this existing template will save us so much time.
So much.
And the actual answer to that is it won't save you any time at all.
James,
and I'll tell you this much. Now, it will save you negative amounts of time because you will put so much time, energy into said template and updating said template and trying to use said template that you should have just copied and pasted all of the files, went into VS Code, Control Shift F, replaced my app 1 with my app 2, called it a day. Yeah. Now, that being said, we don't do it just for us, Frank. No, we don't. We're developers. We're developers. We don't wear just puffer jackets in the Pacific Northwest for no reason inside your own house. You
Mine's
specifically
right
do this.
Here. Become a Northwesterner.
Yeah, where's the puffer?
Here we
there
go.
You go. Put the puffer on.
There we go. Now we're good. Please enlighten us now. Yeah.
We do it for the greater good, for the community, for the people, Frank. Because not only will we save time, or so we believe, we'll save everybody else time. We're going to save so much time for all the people. All the people are going to use these templates. So it's very rewarding at the end of the day. But wow, this is amazing. I made this great thing, published this great thing, and all these people used it, right? Maybe there's one person, maybe it's two people, maybe it's 40,000 people. Who knows? That being said,
you're hurting my soul right now. Thank you. Please continue. I have the 3 stars. Okay, that's 3 people, including myself. That's 4 people.
There you go. 4. Check this out. Boom. Start it. All right. Let me fork it. Perfect. All right. So I think the thing with templates that are fascinating is that there are tons of great things built into the box, right? There's tons of stuff that get updated all the time. You should probably just use those. And as developers, I'm often using as an advocate and someone in the, community doing work. Like I'm doing demos all the time. So I'm file newing all the time. So those built-in templates are super new. Now, the amount of time that actual people get to do file new, much less, you know what I mean, comparatively to working on their main project. So that's why templates, whether the item templates or things to scaffold a project, is like super important, because if Frank's over here making 100 apps, he would rather do file new out. I actually think that I was been more successful where I literally took just a sample app. I had my coffee app. And when I was building the Meisner app, the skiing app, I literally just took that repo. I was like, this is pretty good. I did copy paste. I did go into Visual Studio Code and I just renamed everything. And that was pretty great. It honestly worked like way better than if I tried to templatize and do all this other stuff.
Let me interrupt you with my own anecdote there. I do that for, don't tell anyone, my web apps, because I wrote one database access layer and one user repository and a user login system that does all the crazy junk a stupid user login system has to do. And I don't ever want to write that code again. So no matter what web app I'm writing, I almost always copy and paste from this one project. The problem is, this is the old 1990s problem before we had version control. You can never remember which project exactly to copy from if you're like me, because I'm bad at having a fork and saying, at this point, this has become my template project. Like, I agree with you. Like, official templates on .NET are very hard. I'm kind of okay with maybe a separate Git repo or just a directory that to copy and paste from later. But I have a hard time separating that. So I get into this awkward thing of like, which of my 5 web apps should I copy and paste from? Because they all are slightly different versions, because we're not doing version control correctly and all that kind of stuff. But I definitely agree in principle. I do this for all my web apps because I'm never going to use a repository again.
Yeah, it's quite a lot to do just in general. And the fact of even just thinking about, okay, if I am, templatizing this thing and I want to publish it, well, what am I doing? I got to put it in like CI. Do I like publish it? Do I got to create it in the app store? I got to do this thing. Like back in the day with Visixes, you would literally have to like create and version a Vizix, then upload it manually, and then do, you know what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
like quite a lot going on in that regard. And then, obviously that only works on Visual Studio. If you want to do it on Visual Studio for Mac at the time, or you wanted to do it for something else, I got to do this whole thing. And then there's like even bigger things. Like before I even get to the newer tooling, like there is like Template Studio, and there's like a bunch of dotnet Maui ones where basically there's a whole wizard, right? So there is a template that's there, but then there's an entire like WPF, like I want to create this page and that page. It's a whole wizard walkthrough Templatizer 5000, which is like amazing to think about. Like the dotnet Maui accelerator or whatever, which is another Vizx. It's like a template on 10,000 basically. It's just like way over the top, but just like all the things you can imagine. Like what it's like highly customized, very nice. But nowadays you can go that route. That requires a lot of work. But if you're just like me and Frank, are like, I just want to create a template, right? The hard part in the past was Vizx's, like this stuff is not cross-platform, right? So if you're on Linux or on Mac, what are you going to do? If you're just on the command line, you're not getting those templates because they're not there. So actually, how many templates are shipped nowadays are, funnily enough, just NuGet packages.
That's right. Yeah. And that's the part I was suspicious of, but I couldn't quite remember, like, were they a specific kind of NuGet package or were they just a normal NuGet package? And I've actually been doing some digging around and I've discovered it is a whole different package type. So you create a CS proj, but it's a special package type. And I guess they kind of get auto-registered. If as long as you install that package globally or something, then you'll be able to use it from .NET New. Anyway, that was a lot. You just gave me a wonderful link. I hope it'll be in the show notes. But yeah, I guess it is that simple. It's a CS proj with a bunch of content that is with a package type of template.
They even have a entire sample repo that show you how to do everything. Now, the interesting part about templates is like not just, you can't just be like, oh, here's my project and then go create the template. No, it has to be like, content or extensions. There's like a whole like kind of rhyme and reason of how to do it. And then, the target content folder and then all these other things and these other things. But basically there's a Microsoft template engine.tasks. And that's one of the things that essentially figures out how to NuGetize it up, package it all up, and get it out to NuGet. So just like you would, do NuGets and build it up and pack your NuGet, you'd be able to do this. The nice part is that there is a way to just do .NET New template pack, which for all intents and purposes, it's a template. It's a
template generator, template.
It's correct. There is a package called Microsoft Template Engine Authoring Templates. And these are templates of templates for building templates.
Perfect.
Very meta. Amazing though. Kind of it's astonishing because funnily enough, one of the things that I did and now Gerald have done through the years is we created templates for creating plugins, not quite as meta, but basically which enable abstractions over stuff. So instead of you like creating an app or doing something like this, it's like a template of a template of how to do something. And then nowadays there's actually, we stopped kind of doing that. We just have a template on GitHub. There's actually a GitHub, you can turn a GitHub repo into a template. And the good and bad of it is that instead of cloning it or forking it, you just say create a repo based off this template and it just kind of copies everything, kind of does it, the magic there. But from what I can tell, at least, there's not like a way, if listeners, if there is a way to do this, let me know. There's not a way to like sub out names. Like you can't be like, use this template and then also here's 3 fields to fill in and then apply these 3 fields in a special way. That would be really neat. Because one of the things that I did in my templates was at a plugin template, if you just called it battery plugin, it would replace all the things with battery and all this stuff. Or I think I was like, name it battery and then it'll figure out all the names for you. So anyways, no, I'm off tangent. You got something, Frank?
No. Yeah. I just want to interject. I'm glad there is a template generator, template yes. thing. I'm just keep saying that because there is a .template.config/template template.json file that I assume it generates, because I don't think I ever could have come up with this file. But this is where you can actually state your one substitution I think you can do in the .NET new world, where you can give a name to, you pass it along. Like if you're creating a solution, you'd give the solution a name, a project, you'd give the project name. And so you can just say a source name, and that is the literal string it'll look for throughout all your files and replace with the name the user passed in, that you pass in later. So given that there's just a little config file that's able to accomplish that, it's not what you want. You want like a wizard. You want options and things like that. I am curious if GitHub has a feature like that where you can choose the substitutions. That would be something good for us to look up and have some follow-up on, because that I think that is it's very tempting to just go the Git world. I like it listed under .NET New, but .NET New also has the drawback of you have to remember to install the package in the first place. Or you do .NET New install and give it the package name or something like that. Mm-hmm. I bounce around on machines a little too often. I think it might be easier actually to GitHub clone versus .NET New. Tricky situation.
It is hard, like the discoverability of it. Now, I do think that if you install the templates with the .NET installer, I do believe Visual Studio on Windows will pick those up and add them into your repertoire of templates. Okay. From my understanding, at least. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure. Because I'm pretty sure that's how most of the other packages now or new templates are basically installed, from my understanding. Not all of them, but I think some of them. I know in VS Code they won't. I'm pretty sure that list isn't all of them, but maybe it is. I'm not positive. So, but again, you could do .NET New and then list, and then it would show you all of them. But again, I guess like I'm a Windows person, I'm an IDE person, so I want them to be there. That being said, I'm not really sure, and you could help me on the Xcode part, at least. Like, on the Android Studio part, I'm not really sure. I have to imagine there are ways of getting extra templates, but does Apple allow that type of extensibility on Xcode? Like, is there even an Xcode extensibility model?
Not one. Okay, there is one for Xcode. There is an extensibility model, but it never gives you the things you want. You want integration with the text editor, and they don't give you that kind of stuff, sadly. I honestly can't even tell you. I will say if templates are a thing in Xcode, no one uses them because I never see them referenced. I don't know anyone who publishes any or anything like that. I do believe they have a good kind of snippet database, which most IDEs do, but I never remember to use them. Like, maybe I should just be storing all my templates as giant snippets, just clone things that way. But and I don't know anything about Android Studio either, but I don't think Xcode has too many features for adding templates. I'm going to check, though.
Yeah, it's kind of funny you mention, we talk about templates. I think that's a fascinating part, is like, we think of it as like, project templates. There's item templates. So being able to right click and then add a new item. There's scaffolding items. There's all sorts of things that kind of happen there. But even for me in the Android days, even adding like simple XML files or things that I would add to every project or add multiple times, it's a lot nicer to have a template than actually just writing stuff from scratch. It's for just little items inside of there. But I think you made a good point too, which is that when we think of templates, it doesn't have to be just item or project templates. It could be like code snippet templates too. And I don't know if Visual Studio has a way of, there is a way of templatizing them, I think, but I don't know if you can ship them.
I think in Visual Studio has a really nice feature where you can select any text and drag it into the object list, item list. There's some palette where you can just drag stuff into, and it becomes like a permanent snippet that's remembered forever. Sorry, everyone, I'm not doing that feature justice. If you know that feature, you know it. Otherwise, Google those words I just said, and hopefully the right thing will come up. This actually goes back to old argument I used to make. I had always wished that the file new project template was always essentially blank, like maybe pop up a hello world dialogue or something like that. But then you spend all your time adding the feature templates. So a pre-baked settings dialog, a pre-baked tab layout, a pre-baked etc. layout, slightly higher level controls and objects and components. Because although it's easy enough to say, oh, there's a timer object out there, it's much easier to say .NET new my timer and
Yeah.
just get one that's kind of all set up and has some decent defaults baked into it and maybe integrates into the main form. Who knows? Things like that. Honestly, I'm just going back to like Visual Basic ideas and things like that, old Delphi ideas. So I was, now that I'm saying this, I should really take my own medicine here. It would be nice to have more of those kinds of templates. Keep file new projects simple and just make it easy to add stuff on.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the .NET MAUI templates nowadays are pretty blank. I mean, that's the thing is there's a lot of discussion over what is a blank template.
Right.
And there's two sides of the coin of a blank template. If a blank how blank is a blank template? Because a blank template that's truly blank would literally be just a CS proj with nothing.
Empty CS proj. Yeah.
And in fact,
program.cs hello world.
No, that's the thing. Imagine you're doing a new console app, an actual blank template.
No hello world.
It wouldn't even have hello world, right? So for .NET MAUI, you've seen the Xamarin Forms templates evolved a lot over the years. There was ones that had full backends, it had navigation, it had MVVM in it, like all this other stuff. The .NET MAUI template is actually like there's just a template, right? And it's very simplistic, which it just has an image, some text, and a button that you increase there. Now, many people would say that's even too much. However, Frank, I would also like to say that one of the most important things of blank templates, or whatever the default template is the demo ability of that template. I know it sounds silly because it's not like developers every day are thinking about the demo ability of the template. However,
I don't like it.
However, how many times do I do file new project and have to demo .NET MAUI? Many, many times. Hundreds of times. And this is reaching hundreds of thousands of people. So actually the demo ability of that template is fairly important because you want to be able to do some things to show it off, to build upon it, X, Y, Z. So I do think the item templates are important to be able to scaffold that out and do different things, but you need enough to be able to show people something that's inside of it and build upon the default template. In my opinion, with at the same time, it shouldn't be annoying to delete the stuff that's in there, right? I think if it takes you under, 30 seconds to delete all the stuff, then you're probably doing okay.
Yeah. Delete time, that's an interesting metric. That's not the one I was thinking of. I was thinking of literal lines of code.
Yeah.
Maybe mixed with that quantity of files. But I agree. Like I think Blazor has struck the balance pretty well with their new template.
Yeah, I like it.
They give you tabbed layout. It's not tabbed layout, but whatever, web version of tabbed layout. They give you a few example pages. They have the rough fallback. I think what they do, the important thing of they guide you along. They're like, here's how an app of this style should be written. Here's the directories to use. Here's how to name things. It's a real beginner. And I think it's, especially with their file format, it's really easy to delete things and add things and all that kind of stuff. So I think they've struck a real nice balance there. I think like MAUI should have basic tabs, things like, it's most of MAUI apps are used on a phone. So tabs are going to be your main UI. You might as well have the file new project be tabs, but it shouldn't be 1,000 lines of code. I remember a mistake with I don't remember if it was WinMetro. I think it was WinMetro. when you did file a new project, it generated so much XAML. Like every style you've ever thought of, like they took like XAML from scratch. Like the style of your app was 100% defined within your app itself, and it would just spit out all this infinite amount of XAML. And I think that was the wrong way to go for a file new project. I think you should make your framework a little more powerful, that your demoable, your cool project doesn't need 100 million lines of code. So it's a tricky balance. And I know I said empty. What I mean by empty also is it's not pulling in 1,000 external libraries. Like empty should mean it's all just running self-contained within itself.
Yeah.
That also. I just want a simple project I can build from.
Well, I think then beyond that, that's where the community packages and the things that we're talking about come in, is like the ability to have that templating engine to build on top of it for people that are like, oh, I want to really spin up this project with all these things on top of it, especially for demoability or for like custom frameworks or something like that. You know, if you're Uno or Prism or Avalone or something like that, you need your own templates that are going to build out these things on top of the core, which I think are important. But yeah, it's like really fascinating. I mean, I could talk for days about templates and blank templates and all these other things, but I agree with you. I think that things were a lot more of an issue when the CS project really housed like all of the files and all of the information about images, and they're so big. Nowadays, you're right. It's like it's just reading the files that are on there, so you can just delete the files from disk, right? And like everything updates automatically, and it's like super simple. Now, funnily enough, in the new Blazor web app template, there is a checkbox that asks if you want to use sample data or not. And if you don't check the sample data, it will literally just say hello world with no styling, no anything, just outputs HTML that literally says hello world, which I don't think is
I don't think that's the right checkbox name.
Yeah, it's I'm going to look at it here.
I was going to make the argument where I was saying the default Maui template should have tabs. I agree with that. So that there is a remaining argument, should you have a truly empty that still has like at least the main message loop pump, things that you absolutely need to put a UI up. A Maui app is a UI. So you should at least have a main page, but like no shell. No icons. No, you should still have icons. So yeah, the line for empty is really tough because no one wants to figure out where to put those stupid icons.
It's true. It's very, very true. It's like, how much of the resources, the styling, all the stuff that you want to put in there, XYZ is good. Yeah. It's like, inside of a Blazor application now, you have to say like, well, there's always been authentication type and HTTPS. You'd say, what render mode do you want, right? What interactivity location do you want? Do you want sample pages? Do you want to not use top level statements? Do you want to list in .NET Aspire orchestration? So there's quite a lot. There's quite a lot of options going on.
I wonder what the .NET knew, since I'm a dirty Mac user. I wonder what that, because I don't know. Does that prompt you for questions? I guess we could find out real fast. But I thought they mostly don't prompt you for questions.
VS Code will prompt you for different things. I don't know how that works actually. If I do .NET new list, templates do not ask you questions, although that would be super cool in my opinion. Yeah.
So I wonder what the Blazor, because that's how I judge Blazor, is usually .NET new.
There is so today, at least for whatever I have installed, there's Blazor web app, Blazor WebAssembly standalone app, and then Blazor server app. I'm not sure if those are all .NET 8 or if I have multiple older .NET 7 templates. I think the standalone maybe is there, but if I just you have to pass in arguments. I think you can pass in arguments, but you'd have to know what those arguments are. So if I do .NET new Blazor -- help.
I don't know.
Let's see what it does. It does. Okay, cool. So for that, for example, I can pass in the framework. These are all like default ones. There's -int for interactivity. I can pass server, auto, WebAssembly. -e for empty. That is what
there's your magic empty.
that omits sample pages. That demonstrates basic patterns. There's -auth, -- auth. You can pass in none or individual. -- use a local DB, whether to use a local database instead of SQLite. -- all interactive, or also known as -AI. That's funny. Chooses whether to make every page so true or false if that's global or not. -- no HTTPS, and -- use program main, whether to generate an explicit program class. So what's happening is
that's a Visual Studio.
Template. Visual Studio is explaining these options, and then it's just calling the command line, right? It's just calling the command line.
Well, now I wish that the Blazor template was released as a package, because I would want to go check out their template.json or whatever. I would love to see how they're actually implementing those command line arguments. Again, we should do a follow-up show, because I feel like I have not been taking advantage of this feature enough.
The fascinating part is it might be inside of there, to be honest. So
there was no guarantee, so I was wondering if it was a package or not.
So there is, I'm not sure if it's a package. However, on their GitHub, on the ASP.NET Core 1, there is specifically web.project templates, and you will see that there is a Blazor C# one, I think. I'm not sure which one it is, though. But there's C#, F# ones in here. They're .in files. I don't know what those are, but there's content inside there. Oh, my goodness. There's all sorts of stuff. Blazor Web C#. That's probably what we want. I think maybe.
Always.
I don't know. There's so many things happening in here. But yeah, I'm assuming that it takes in those different properties. There's the template.config, CLI host.json. There's an IDE.hostJSON. I don't know. It's all public. It's wild. And I'm looking. Oh, man. There's a very large, that JSON file is 500 lines of JSON. There it is. So there is a interactive location. There's choices. So you can say interactive per page, choose which components will have interactive rendering. So you have to define these different platform interactivity modes that get explained. And then you can say, basically, specify them out, basically, of what you want to do, the different values. So very fascinating. And it probably gets passed down into your project template. So they're out there. I mean, this would be the way to do it.
Yeah, we just opened a giant can of worms. Those template files are huge. I am going to have to read through them very slowly with a reference manual, because OMG, those are huge.
Yeah.
Apologize. I am choking over here.
Because they're such a big file, and just like, wow, that is.
I'm just so amazed. It's overwhelming my nasal system.
Well, all right. So the places that templates exist in 2024, I think they are important to the ecosystem, obviously important for file new, but I do believe that there's a lot of value that can be added in item templates from folks to really scaffold out things. Like you said, why wouldn't I want to just say, add new profile page, add new whatever, and it just like scaffolds everything out for me? Like that would be just amazing. I do think there's a big opportunity there to build out an ecosystem of these snippets or these items that are really helping developers beyond file new, going beyond file new templates. That's the name of this podcast.
Yeah. Are we going to challenge ourselves to do it? We'll see. No. Can we take our own medicine?
No, absolutely.
I might try. We'll see.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, before we get out of here, Frank, we got a WWDC emails, June 10th or something.
Are you going?
No. I've never been to WWDC. Have you been to WWDC?
One. 2017? No, it was iOS 7. So God knows, what was that, a century ago?
10 years ago. So 2014, maybe. 2014, 2013.
Okay. iOS 7. It was quite a shock. It was the transition from skeuomorphic, textured linen.
Oh, that's a good one.
To white Helvetica fonts everywhere. Well,
and it hasn't changed since.
No, it really hasn't. Boring buttons forever.
It's true. You get no gradients, no drop shadows.
Thank goodness the Vision Pro actually has an attractive, everything's translucent, vibrancy effect on everything.
It's great. Are you going to go this year? Are you going to try to go? It's the year of the Vision Pro.
Try to go. Oh. It's the year of AI, I hope. I mean, I want Vision Pro SDK version 2 desperately, but it better be year of AI. I wanted year of AI last year. Vision Pro, awesome. Apple needs to do better on AI.
Are they going to do it this year? I don't really know. I'm not seeing it. I mean, it'll be there, but I feel like it'll be the start.
The start. They already started. They complete one word at a time in every text field. It's literally a start.
They're far on.
I think they could go a little more.
They're far on ML, right? They have the core fundamentals. They're far on ML. They kind of slowed down recently, but they're far on ML. But they're going to do a core AI. Is that going to be a new kit?
Oh God, I hope not. I think we did a whole podcast me complaining how many ML and AI kits they have. There's just too many right now. Yeah. Now that I said that, of course, yeah, it'll be Core LLM. Core. Yeah, that's probably a terrible name. Yeah, well, it honestly, in this world, I think it's really a distribution trick for them too. Like, do they really want to install a neural network on everyone's computers, or are they going to do the services route, the Azure route of hosted AI? And then I bet you that's a bit of an internal debate that they're having right now. Where do you strike that balance?
They kind of went down that path with like WeatherKit, right? WeatherKit just is basically calls to an external service at the end of the day and displaying information. So they could go down that route.
I think that's a bad example, because whether you have to talk to a central server, you don't know whether the phone doesn't have sensors for it, or a Mac doesn't have sensors for it, but a Mac could host a neural network.
Yeah, I'm just saying that it's possible for them to host services that we call into.
Right. But these are big, nasty, scary services. These are, correct. Took Microsoft years to build the infrastructure to run this junk.
Yeah. I'm interested in what they're going to do too, because there's been a lot of Gemini talk and other talk around Apple specifically and what they're going to do if they have their own thing. Like, there's a lot of things out there like, oh, maybe like they'll start there, but then eventually they'll create their own thing. So I still think that I don't know. I mean, what did the email say? Hold on, let me look at it. Were there any hints?
Oh, I can't decode those hints. Those hints are terrible. Did you get a hint?
See. I got to go to my work account.
I'm scrolling. That's how important it was. It was right in front of me, I swear.
WWDC.
Still scrolling.
Yeah, where is it? 2024. World. Let's have an Apple. There it is. Save the date. So it is just okay. So it's save the date, Apple Worldwide Developers Conference. So if you search for WWDC, it's not there. So this is fascinating. So the image is, did you find it?
I will find it.
Just type in the word Apple
Conference.
Save the date. Apple Worldwide Developers
All I
Conference.
have are, here's your Apple search ad invoice. Don't you get those like 8,000 times a day? I need to figure out how to turn those off.
Is it perclarum.org? Yeah. There it is. Okay. I'm going to forward it to you. Did you get it?
Thank you.
Did you get it at your Frank Kruger account?
Nope.
PRAECLUM.org.
This is good radio.
Did you get it?
For me to get an email. You just...
Oh, no, that didn't get it.
You tell everyone.
Type your email in the Zencaster box.
Okay.
That way I'm not going to dox you. I must have spelled it. I gotta. What did I do? Okay,
this is good. This is what people tune in for.
Oh, I definitely spelled Proclarum wrong, because it's obviously super easy to remember how to pronounce. Well, you're in my normal inbox, but not my work email inbox. Okay, did you get it? It's in your inbox.
You know what? I get space internet. It takes a moment.
Okay, so did you get it?
We did. I did get it. We did all of that so I could see this bad typography. This is really bad typography. Apple, they literally stretched out the 2 and the 4. I know a stretched out letter when I see one.
No, you're missing the entire thing. Look at the WW up top.
It's like Wonder Woman. It's
it's combined, but what do you see inside of there? Is there an V and an M? And is there a possible L's on some of these sides?
There's no L's. Where are you getting an L? This is insane.
No
okay. There could be an M. You think there's another M? We're still doing the M3.
It does M4? M7? There's 7 switch. There's 3 switchbacks on here.
No, can we get back to talking about how they stretched out the 2 and the 4?
The WWs really are combined into one W. It looks like Wonder Woman, yes, but it is odd. And even in the little Apple WWDC, there's a little thing on it, but June 10th to June 14th. So I don't know what they're gonna be talking about. So
I just want to say that they stretched the 2 and the 4 at a 21:17 aspect ratio. Yes. And it looks terrible.
It's a little stretched. Is it a stretch? Yeah. Funnily enough, if you go to the Learn More click button, I think that 2 isn't a stretch there. Is it?
Oh, hard. No. That one looks actually correct.
It's a different orientation. It doesn't look as stretched, but a little bit funky. Anyways, all right, that's gonna do it for this week's podcast. Let us know if you're going to WWDC, Dubs, or ZC. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you next week. You can find us on the internet at mergeconflict.fm. There is a Patreon page. You can support the show. And we have a YouTube page at youtube.com/@mergeconflict.fm. You can see our beautiful faces each week. If you like this show, give it a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It helps our show. We like that. And share with a friend. All right, that's going to do for this week's Merge Conflict. So until next time, James Magno.
And I'm Frank Kruger. Thanks for watching and listening.
Peace.